We just love you all. We just thank you for coming tonight. Some of you have asked me about more about Connie and I when we first met and so forth. And I thought I'd mention a couple of things. First thing, however, I wanted to mention to you that Connie and her two brothers, one of whom is tonight, Daryl, would you raise your hand? From North Carolina, and his wife Betty next to him. Traveled down from Cary, North Carolina, just to be here tonight, along with Connie's mother, Mrs. Walden from Charleston, South Carolina. Would you raise your hand, Mrs. Walden? Raise your hand.
That's not very high.
Thank you. It was 30 years ago that Connie and her brothers gave a 40th anniversary party for their mom and their dad. And they were about the same age as we are today. And there were two things, among others, that I remember about that 40th anniversary party. Number one, they looked real old. Number two is that Mr. Walden reached over and hugged Mrs. Walden and gave her a kiss. And I thought to myself, why is he doing that? I want you to know that Connie and I, well, I'll go ahead and say this. There are three things that she always tells me before I do any public speaking. One is, don't embarrass me. Number two, do not tell any jokes. Number three, just don't say anything at all. I do want to mention to you that a little bit about when we got started and so forth. I want to talk with you about her family just for a moment, please. We first met in 1907. Actually, it was 1967. I had just gotten home from overseas. We met within the first few days. She was wearing a dress that her mother made, and I was wearing clothes that Uncle Sam made. She still has that dress. I still have those clothes. We started to wear them tonight, but they shrunk up a little. But anyway, we met through some acquaintances, and we continued to blossom in a friendship over a period of time. And it came to be 1968. And for some crazy reason, and I cannot explain it to you, it was a Sunday afternoon. I drove over to her house. Her grandparents were there, and they were shown in the slide presentation. They had just gotten a new car, and Connie drove that new car, and she gave me a ride. And Mrs. Walden, I don't know if you remember that or not, but that was the start of our true relationship. And she began to invite me over for dinner. Actually, just to invite me over, but it was always a few minutes before dinner. And so I liked that a whole lot. I fell in love with Mrs. Walden because of her great cooking. And so I enjoyed fishing. Some of the slides that you saw were actually of us dating. We would, some of my greatest times, I think, in our courtship was the fact that we would go to her grandmother's farm, and where there would be a pond, and we would go fishing together. We would have a great lunch, and I'd go out on the hammock of their cracker house, and have a little snooze out there, and we had a fun time among the chickens, among the farm, and it kind of reminded me of my real young years at my mother's farmhouse, as my mother grew up. There's some great times together. And we ultimately got married and returned to Florida. And I married and to an incredible family. To me, I was just so immensely blessed to marry into the Walden family. There is simply no greater family than the Walden family. And Mrs. Walden, Karen Knight, Connie's father, passed away back in 1987. He treated me like a son, as Mrs. Walden always has, just like Connie's brothers. Connie lost a brother, as you know, in Vietnam. And there's been no greater family. It has been my privilege to be a part of that family. And they took me in like a son, and it's just been tremendous. I cannot adequately describe to you the graciousness, the love, and the giving nature of the Walden family. It is just incredible. That's just the way it is. We thank the Lord for our sons. It's by God's grace. And there's nothing, what you see in me is a sinner saved by grace. It's by God's grace. We've had some very wise pastors over the years who have preached a lot about prayer, and we just thank the Lord for our sons. We're so grateful for this evening. We thank each one of you. Each one of you is a very special person in our lives. Each one of you we have looked up to. There's been some attribute about you that we admire and that we respect very highly. I don't want to be a respecter of persons, but I do want to mention some names. Besides Connie's mother from South Carolina and her brother Daryl and Betty from North Carolina, I'd like to mention Ashley and Alita Deacle, who traveled down from Toccoa Falls, Georgia, just for this evening. Ashley and Alita, would you raise your hands? Where are you? There you are. Right here. Thank you.